If you have used ChatGPT, you know that sometimes it generates answers or gives answers with confidence, but the answers are not accurate and very good. That is called hallucination. We are going to look at the reasons why GPT hallucinates and how a solution like KChat, which uses your own knowledge base, can solve that problem. Let's take a look. The first reason why GPT may hallucinate is that its database is not real time and it doesn't have all of the information that's on the internet. And therefore, it may not have the context to provide the right answers for you. This is different than a Google search where they're constantly indexing the entire internet and they have the latest information to serve you. Here is the second and most important reason why GPT hallucinates, and that is that it doesn't know whether the sources that it is using to generate answers for you are accurate sources. GPT is trained, it's generative. Given the context, it's going to generate an answer for you, but it doesn't know if the sources are correct. The third reason is very important, and that is the type of questions that you ask are really important for the kind of answers you're going to get. GPT is generative, it's going to produce answers, but it needs good context. The more context you give it, the more specific your questions, the better your answers. So if you're using GPT, you have to train yourself to ask specific questions. Our KChat solution can solve these problems because it's a RAG GPT. And what a RAG GPT is that the GPT is going to generate its answers from your database. So you have access to specific knowledge. You can make sure that it's always updated and it provides the latest answers. It's also fact-checked because the sources that you're using are curated and added to the knowledge base by you. And you get contextual accuracy because RAG systems are usually vertical and the content is around specific topics. We're going to take a look at two examples of KChat to see how it provides answers and how good those answers are. In this demo, I want to show you how KChat on our website eliminates hallucinations and talk about the 3 points that we discussed that create hallucinations. Number one was the knowledge base. In KChat, the knowledge base is curated by you. Therefore, we know that the answers that are generated are always related to your information. Number two is that we know the sources of the information and KChat will lead you to the source. And number three is the questions that you ask need to be specific for you to get really good answers. As a website visitor to Optimal Access, I read, for example, custom chat GPT for your curated content, and then it says from your curated knowledge base, and it can take YouTube videos, blog posts, and web pages. So immediately I have a question that says, how does KChat understand the content of your YouTube videos? Let's take a look at the answer. What we see here is an answer that is directly related to your question. KChat allows content creators to import their YouTube channel with transcripts and comments for chatbot use. So immediately you get the answer to your question with a reference to a source. KChat for YouTube content creators, and then getting started with KChat, and KChat for content creators. And in all three of these sources, it talks about this topic. You can see different summaries that are related to the content. And then when I click on the source, it's going to take me to the corresponding content where I can now actually look at the entire video and learn how I can take YouTube videos and use them on my KChat. So KChat as a RAG system will eliminate hallucinations for your chatbot. And really the best way to know it is to try it on your own content. I'm going to show you another example of this for different type of content. The next example I want to use is a demo site I created for analysts, content creators, political campaigns, educators, a wide range of content. I have over 800 different posts in here, and I'm really amazed by how well KChat does to always find the right type of information, therefore no hallucination. Let me give you an example. I just created a question: what is a reasonable percentage of rent compared to salary, and why are rent prices rising so rapidly across the US in the last few years? Let's take a look at the answer. Again, what you see is an answer that is directly appropriated and in context of the question. The recommended percentage of income spent on housing, including rent, is typically around 25 to 30% for it to be considered affordable. Now, the key idea behind KChat is not just an answer, but leading the reader to the source of the information, which in this case is a talk by Dr. Richard Wolff, who is an economist who explores this question and provides answers. A soundbite is not going to educate people, but giving people the source of the information will give the whole context of the talk. And we believe that that is really a critical feature of KChat, a great use of GPT to provide these types of responses. The best way for you, again, to know how well this works is to take some of your content and quickly test KChat and come to the conclusion by yourself. Give it a try.